Hello students, welcome to English class. Let's read and understand the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Before reading the poem, let's know about the poet Robert Frost. Robert Frost's full name was Robert Lee Frost. He was born on March 26, 1874, and he died on January 29, 1963. He was an American poet. His work was initially published in England before it was published in America. As his work was initially published in England, he got name and fame in England. The Road Not Taken is a poem by Robert Frost published in 1916 as the first poem in the collection of Mountain Interval. So, The Road Not Taken is the first poem of Robert Frost, which was published in the year 1916 in the collection of Mountain Interval. Among English speakers, and especially in North America, it's a comparatively poem. Its central theme is the divergence of paths. The central theme of this poem is about making choices in life and the choices that shape our future. So the poet says through this poem that there are many alternatives available at the time of choice, but we have to select only one. It is only the future that will reveal whether the decision taken is right or wrong. After taking the decisions, we cannot undo them. We can only regret them. Even if we wish, we cannot start all over again. So, taking the right decision and making correct choices is very crucial to an individual's life. Any wrong decision or choice can spoil our life. Let's read and understand the poem stanza by stanza. Let's read the first stanza now. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Let's see the meanings. Diverged, separated, yellow wood, the leaves on the tree yellow. That resembles the autumn season. Undergrowth, dense growth of plants and bushes. Now let's understand the stanza. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. So here the poet says, once when he was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths in a yellow wood. And sorry, I could not travel both and be one traveler. So the poet says that as he was one person, he could not travel on both the roads. He could travel only on one road. He had to choose one out of those two roads. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully as far as he could see. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. He wanted to know, was it suitable to him or not? That's the reason he was looking the paths carefully. to where it bent in the undergrowth. So here the poet was able to see the path till it curved, after which he could not see the path as it was covered with plants and it was hidden. So children, it happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on which path we should go. In the same way, here poet was standing there and he was choosing a right path for him. Let's read the second stanza. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though, as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. Let's see the meanings. Fair, good. Better claim, it seemed better. Wanted wear, looked less worn out. Passing on, walking down. Let's understand the second stanza. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim. So now the poet selects the road and says just as fair. That means he had selected a good path for himself. He further adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him. So he chose it. Because it was grassy and wanted wear. Why did he select that path? As it had grass on it, which means that it was unused. That means not many people had walked on this path earlier. That is why this path was grassy. Though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. So now the poet felt that after he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths were similar and worn out. Children, even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have some kind of benefits, disadvantages, problems, or challenges, and we must face all of them. Third stanza. And both that morning equally lay. In leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Let's read the meanings. Equally lay, were equally covered. Trodden black, turned the path black by crushing the leaves. Way leads on to way. One thing leads to another. Let's understand the third stanza. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. So here poet says that leaves cover both roads equally. No one this morning has yet taken either path, for the leaves lie undisturbed. This symbolizes that the choices in life open to the poet are both unknown to him. That means both the roads were unknown to him, and that day morning nobody had stepped on those roads. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Now, the poet remains committed to his decision to take the road he had previously selected, saying that he will save the other road for another day. This symbolizes that he will make the other choice in life only if he is not satisfied with the results of the first choice. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. He observes that he will probably never pass this way again, as one path leads to another, and thus he will never have an opportunity to take the other road. This symbolizes that he will not be able to take the second choice in life at all. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option. And we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. So we have to choose the option in a wise manner. Now let's go to fourth stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Let's read the meanings. Sigh, sigh of satisfaction or regret. Ages and ages hence, many years in the future. Now let's understand the fourth stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. So now the poet says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by. So he had reached to such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he had travelled on that road which had been travelled upon by lesser number of people. And that has made all the difference. So the poet says that that decision of his decided his future. Whether it was a right or wrong, the choice will have had a significant impact on his life. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will also say that once upon a time when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you had made you what you became of it. So students, this is very important message given to you by the poet, that you should be wise and careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. Now let us see the poetic devices used in the poem. Assonance. Assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in nearby words. If there is a repetition of vowel sounds in the nearby words, that is called assonance. Let's see the first line. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. The O sound is repeated in roads and yellow. So that is called assonance. Now another poetic device used in this poem is personification. Personification means a figure of speech which is used for an inanimate object or animals, birds, look or feel human. Let's read eighth line. Because it was grassy and wanted wear. So the path wanted wear. That means wanting is a human need. Now, the another poetic device which is used in the poem is imaginary. Imaginary means to use figurative language to represent objects or actions and ideas in such a way that it appeals to our physical senses. That means very easily we can imagine the things. Let's read the first line. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood. It gives a picture in the mind. We get the picture of two roads diverged into the yellow wood. Now, if you look at the 11th and 12th lines, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. It is also imaginary or picturization, which is a poetic device used here. So we get the images or pictures which comes to our mind. And the metaphor is another poetic device used in the poem. So what is a metaphor? A device which compares two things or qualities which are unlike. The comparison of two things or qualities which are not similar. The poem as a whole is a metaphor because the poet is metamorphically comparing the two parts in the wood to the choices of one must make in life. Now let's see the rhyming scheme. It's A, B, A, B for every stanza in this poem. That means the first, third and fourth are the rhyming words, and second and fifth are the rhyming words. Would, stood, could. Both, undergrowth. The second stanza. Fair, where, there. Claim, say. Lay, day, way. Black, back. Now fourth stanza. Sigh, I, buy. Hence, difference. So these are the poetic devices which are used in the poem. Hope you all understood the poem. Thank you.